The morning began strangely quiet. There were no birds, no bright sunlight spilling through the clouds, only a weak orange glow that barely touched the streets. Across the world, people looked up and felt the same chill. Something was wrong with the sun. In the city of New Berlin, a small boy named Adam asked his mother, "Why is it so dark?" She looked out the window, unable to answer. The sun looked smaller, weaker, as if someone had dimmed it like a dying candle. Within hours, social media exploded. Pictures, videos, live streams. Everyone was talking about the fading sun. Scientists rushed to their observatories. Space agencies sent urgent commands to satellites. Something enormous was moving in space between Earth and the sun. At first, people thought it was an asteroid field or dust cloud. But then the images came in, sharp, terrifying, and impossible to deny. It wasn't dust. It was a fleet, hundreds of giant alien ships moving in perfect formation, spreading out like a curtain across the sun. Each ship was miles long, shaped like dark mirrors, reflecting nothing. They were building a wall, a solar barrier, a structure so large that it started to block the sunlight reaching Earth. Governments tried to keep calm, but the world was already in chaos. News anchors spoke in shaky voices. Power companies warned of massive energy shortages. Farmers cried as crops started to wilt. Temperatures began to fall. Within 2 days, daylight lasted only a few hours. The rest was a cold, dim twilight. On the third day, the aliens finally spoke. Every device on Earth, every screen, every radio, every signal, carried the same message. "Children of the blue world, your age of light is over. Kneel and accept your place in the dark. The sun no longer belongs to you," people screamed. Some prayed. Others refused to believe. But high above the clouds, the fleet continued to expand. The barrier was nearly complete. In the United Earth Council chamber, world leaders gathered under dim emergency lights. The faces of generals, scientists, and politicians looked pale, desperate. "This is not a blockade," said Dr. Mira Lang, head of Solar Research Division. "They are removing our light. They are changing our planet's energy balance. In weeks, maybe days, Earth will freeze." Someone asked, "Can we destroy the barrier?" She shook her head. "It's too big. Even our strongest weapons can't reach it." Silence filled the room. For the first time in centuries, humanity had no answer. Commander Rook, leader of the Earth Defense Fleet, slammed his fist on the table. "So that's it? We just watch the world die?" Dr. Mira looked at him, her voice calm but heavy. "Maybe not. There might be another way." The others turned to her. "What way?" She hesitated, then said quietly, "If they block our sun, maybe we can make our own." The room fell silent again, but this time it was different. A tiny spark of hope flickered in the darkness. Project Helios was born that night, deep underground, in a hidden lab beneath the frozen Alps. Only a handful of people knew about it. Scientists, engineers, and a few soldiers. While the world above fell into panic, they worked in secret. The plan was impossible, insane even. Create an artificial star near Earth powerful enough to replace the lost sunlight. Meanwhile, the alien ships tightened their hold. The barrier became thicker, darker. Oceans began to cool. Crops died faster. Animals disappeared. Human cities turned grey and quiet. Some people built fires in the streets to stay warm. Others left their homes searching for light. The world's greatest cities, New York, Tokyo, Mumbai, became half-lit shadows of their former selves. Still, Project Helios continued. Dr. Mira studied the alien materials captured from crashed probes. She discovered they used a strange type of energy, dark light, something that could bend radiation itself. She believed humanity could reverse it. Commander Rook trained new pilots for missions no one else would dare fly, missions to gather solar energy fragments from near the dying sun. Every night, the few remaining satellites showed the same image, the sun, almost completely covered, and yet even in the growing darkness, the humans refused to surrender. Dr. Mira wrote in her final log that day. "They think they own the light. They forget who taught fire to burn." Days later, strange lights appeared on the moon's dark side. Construction signals from Project Helios. Humanity was preparing to strike back, not with weapons but with light itself. As the last rays of sunlight slipped behind the alien barrier, the world fell into shadow. And somewhere in the frozen mountains, under layers of rock and silence, a machine began to hum. Its power core glowed faintly golden. The first artificial sunrise was still far away, but its heartbeat had begun. "If they block our sun," Dr. Mira whispered, staring at the faint light, "we'll make our own." Deep under the frozen Alps, the sound of machines echoed through the dark tunnels. Wires hung from ceilings like vines. Sparks danced in the air. Engineers, scientists, and soldiers worked day and night, building something the world had never seen before. Project Helios, humanity's last hope. Dr. Mira Lang walked through the underground command center, her eyes fixed on the glowing screens. The faces around her were tired but determined. Every man and woman there knew one thing. If they failed, Earth would die in darkness. Commander Rook stood beside her, his uniform covered in dust. "Power cells are unstable again," he said. Mira nodded. "Then we make them stable." "We have no choice." Above them, the world was growing colder. Temperatures had dropped below freezing in many cities. Food was running out. Governments were collapsing. People burned whatever they could find just to stay warm. Yet deep beneath the mountains, a small light of hope flickered. The plan for Project Helios was simple, at least on paper. To create a miniature star, an artificial sun that could orbit near Earth and restore light and heat. It would use fusion technology far beyond anything humans had ever built. The core disk, called the Helios Heart, needed to burn brighter than 1,000 nuclear reactors combined. Mira's team worked in secret partnership with every remaining nation. Old enemies shared technology. Rival space agencies sent data. Even private companies gave their last satellites to help. For once, all of humanity had one goal: to bring back the light. But time was running out. 3 weeks after the sun was blocked, the alien fleet moved closer to Earth. Their barrier now covered 90% of the sky. Only a thin golden line remained on the horizon. People called it the dying edge. That thin line was all the light Earth had left. Commander Rook looked at it from the observation tower one last time. "It's like watching the world fade," he said. Mira replied softly. "Then let's give it something to shine on." She turned back to her team. "All units, prepare for Helios Ignition Test 1. The underground facility shook as energy surged through the cables. Massive generators roared to life. The Helios core began to spin, glowing brighter and brighter until the entire room was filled with golden light. Power levels rising. 30%, 60%, shouted a technician. "Hold it steady," Mira yelled. For a brief, beautiful moment it worked. The darkness outside flickered. Some sensors showed light escaping into the upper atmosphere. But then, alarm screamed. "Core temperature critical." "Containment failing?" Mira ran to the control panel. Shut it down, too late. The Helios core exploded with a thunderous sound, sending shock waves through the tunnels. Metal tore, screens shattered. Fire rushed through the lab. When the smoke cleared, half the chamber was gone. Many were dead. The survivors sat in silence, staring at the broken remains of their dream. Commander Rook stood beside Mira, his voice rough. "So that's it?" "We failed." Mira looked at the ruined machine. Her eyes were red, but her voice was steady. "No, we learned." She placed her hand on the burned console. "We try again." The next few days were the darkest in human history. Global communication broke down. The alien ships began sending down strange probes that froze entire oceans. But something else happened too. People started to resist. Groups of survivors built light camps, places powered by old solar batteries and fusion engines. They shared warmth, food, and stories. They believed that somewhere someone was fighting back. They were right. Project Helios 2.0 began in silence. This time the humans worked even harder. They gathered material from destroyed satellites. They used parts from old nuclear plants. Even the smallest nations sent whatever they had left: gold, uranium, titanium. Mira redesigned the Helios core using alien technology recovered from fallen probes. She discovered that the aliens' energy barrier used reversed light. It didn't create darkness, it ate light. If she could invert the process, Helios could shine brighter than the real sun. Commander Rook and his pilots risked their lives flying near the alien wall to collect energy readings. Many never returned. Each mission brought back just a few fragments of data, but those fragments built hope. One night, as the temperature outside reached record lows, Mira stood in front of the nearly finished Helios 2.0 core. Its metallic surface glowed faintly blue. she whispered to herself. They thought they could take our sun, but they only reminded us how to build one. Commander Rook entered the chamber quietly. It's ready, he said. Mira smiled weakly. Then tomorrow we light the world again. Far above them, the alien fleet detected unusual energy rising from Earth. Their leader watched from the command throne, eyes cold and unblinking. Humans are trying to create a star, one alien reported. Let them, the leader replied. It will be their tomb. As Earth slept under the dying sky, deep in the mountains, the Helios 2.0 core began to hum softly, the sound of human defiance. For the first time in weeks, light touched the walls again. Not sunlight, human light. The countdown to ignition had begun. Tomorrow, Mira said, the darkness learns to fear us. The world had become a frozen shadow. The oceans were sheets of ice. The skies were grey. The last humans lived under domes, using whatever energy they could find to keep warm. But above that dying planet, something new had begun. A silent war between darkness and light. Project Helios had survived. Its second core, Helios 2.0, stood ready inside the moon base, a giant sphere of glowing metal surrounded by shields and reactors. Commander Rook and his crew worked around the clock. Their ships, once made for defense, were now rebuilt for a single purpose, to protect Helios. Dr. Mira Lang didn't sleep anymore. She stayed inside the control chamber, studying the alien signals. She had learned something terrifying. The alien fleet wasn't just blocking the sun, it was feeding on it. The wall around the sun was drawing energy, storing it for something worse. They're harvesting our star, she told Rook. When they're done, the sun will die completely. Rook stared at her, his voice low. Then Helios isn't just hope anymore. It's survival. The humans called their new era the Cold War of Light. Every day was a battle to stay alive, to steal small pieces of sunlight from the alien barrier. Special ships, light runners, flew near the dark wall, collecting solar particles through narrow gaps. Many didn't return. The alien drones hunted them like predators, but still they went, because every beam of light they captured powered Helios for one more day. From the frozen cities, people looked to the sky. Sometimes in the night they saw flashes, battles in space. They didn't know who was winning, but they whispered, "The light is fighting back." Inside the moon base, tension grew. Helios was almost ready, but the aliens had noticed the rising energy. Their scanners picked up the heat coming from the moon. An alien commander sent a warning, "Stop your creation. The dark will consume you." Mira only replied, "We were born from fire. You can't scare us with shadows." Her voice was calm, but her hands were shaking. She knew what was coming. The aliens would attack. A week later, they did. Hundreds of alien ships broke formation and headed toward the moon. Their dark hulls reflected no light. Their engines left trails of black mist. Commander Rook gave the order. "All defense units, to stations. Protect Helios at all costs." The first wave hit like thunder. Explosions lit the lunar surface. Human ships spun and fired back. Laser beams cut through space, their light bending against alien armor. Mira watched from the control room as the battle filled the sky. She whispered to herself, "Hold, Rook, just hold a little longer." Helios 2.0 was still charging. If it activated too early, it could fail like the first one. Rook's fleet was outnumbered 5-1, but they fought harder than ever. Every human knew what was at stake. Not victory, but survival. "Helios status?" Rook shouted over the comm. Mira replied, 85% charge. "We're almost there." Almost wasn't enough. A massive alien ship, the size of a mountain, descended toward the base. Its shadow covered the entire lunar horizon. It began firing beams of dark energy, melting the surface, tearing through human defenses. Rook's ship was hit. Sparks filled the cockpit. His pilot screamed, "We're losing control." Rook gritted his teeth. "Not yet." He turned his damaged ship directly toward the alien giant. "Tell Mira, keep the light alive." Then he rammed the alien warship at full speed. The explosion was so bright it was seen from Earth, a sudden flash across the dark sky. People gasped. For the first time in weeks, they saw light again. Back in the control room, Mira's heart broke, but she didn't stop. Rook's sacrifice had bought her time. "Charge complete," a technician shouted. Mira raised her hand. "Then let's show them what humans can do." The Helios core began to spin faster. Its surface glowed white, then gold, then blinding. The moon shook as energy built up. Outside, the remaining alien ships turned toward the light, sensing danger. Helios ignition in 5, 4, in 3. The alien fleet opened fire. 2, 1. Helios exploded, not in destruction, but in creation. A sphere of pure light burst from the moon's surface, expanding outward like a newborn sun. The alien ships disintegrated in its heat. The darkness around Earth began to fade. On the frozen planet below, people ran out of their shelters looking up. The night sky glowed gold. Children pointed and shouted, "The sun is back." But Mira knew it wasn't the real sun. It was theirs. Humanity's own light. For a moment, Earth felt warmth again. Power grids came alive. Oceans began to thaw, but the celebration didn't last long. New readings appeared on Mira's screens. The alien fleet wasn't destroyed, it only pushed back. And something massive was moving behind the solar barrier. She stared at the data, her voice trembling. "They're not done." "That light!" It woke something up. The transmission from deep space came seconds later, cold, deep, and filled with hate. "You dare to make your own star? Then you will see what true suns can do." The aliens began gathering energy from the real sun. They were turning it into a weapon. Mira whispered, "We brought back the light. But now we might have started a war between suns." The explosion of light from the moon had changed everything. For the first time in weeks, the world saw brightness. Snow melted. Oceans shimmered. Humanity looked up and saw something they had created, their own star. People called it the new sun. It wasn't as big as the real one, but it shone with golden fire, spreading warmth across the frozen earth. Children danced in the streets. Families wept. For a moment, it felt like victory. Commander Rook's name became a legend. Statues of him appeared in the surviving cities, his ship frozen in light at the moment of sacrifice. But deep inside the moon base, Dr. Mira Lang didn't celebrate. She stared at the glowing Helios core on her monitor. It was still burning, but it was unstable. The readings kept changing. Too much energy, too fast. One of her engineers whispered, "We did it, Doctor. Humanity has light again." Mira nodded slowly. "Yes, but something's wrong. The aliens are too quiet." Days passed. The alien fleet had retreated behind the solar barrier. No new attacks came. It felt like silence before a storm. Mira spent every hour studying the data. She found strange energy spikes coming from the sun itself, pulses of heat far stronger than natural solar flares. "They're doing something to it," she told her team. "For they're feeding on our real sun." Her words spread quickly through the base. Fear returned. If the aliens managed to consume the sun completely, the real star could collapse. And when it did, everything, even Helios, would be destroyed. On the frozen earth below, people still celebrated, unaware of what was coming. Cities came back to life. Lights flickered across continents. A child in New Berlin pointed to the sky and said, "Look, Mum, we made our own sun." Her mother smiled weakly. "Yes, darling, we did." But that same night, strange lights appeared near the edge of space. The alien fleet was moving again. They weren't attacking this time. They were merging. Hundreds of ships began to combine into a single massive structure. It glowed red, feeding directly from the real sun's energy. Mira watched in horror. They're building a star weapon. If they finish it, they can burn everything, even our new sun. The United Earth Council gathered in emergency. "We can't stop them," one general said. "Our fleets are too damaged." Mira looked up at the holographic display of the alien structure. "It's not about stopping them," she said. "It's about outshining them." The council turned to her. "What do you mean?" She took a deep breath. "If they are feeding on the sun, then Helios can feed on them." Her plan was risky, insane even. She wanted to link Helios directly to the alien energy stream, using it to overcharge their weapon until it destroyed itself. But to do that, someone had to fly close enough to the alien machine to connect Helios's power relay. Silence filled the room. Everyone knew it was a one-way mission. Finally, Mira said quietly, "I'll go." Preparation began immediately. The Helios light reflected across the moon base as the launch ship Aurora 1 was prepared. Before departure, Mira recorded a message for humanity. "We created our own light because we refused to live in fear. If I don't return, remember this. Darkness is not stronger than us. It only wins when we stop shining. Her words spread across Earth, giving courage to billions. Then the ship launched, a streak of silver against the golden glow of Helios. As Aurora 1 approached the alien structure, Mira saw it clearly for the first time. It was enormous, a living machine wrapped around the sun, drinking its fire. Alien lights pulsed across its surface like veins. She guided her ship toward the core. "Helios Control, I'm in position. Copy that." "Dr. Lang," came the voice from Moonbase. "You have 30 seconds before overload." 30 seconds is all I need." She armed the power relay and activated the link. Helios's energy burst through the connection, flooding the alien structure. At first, nothing happened. Then the entire machine began to shake. The red glow turned white. The aliens screamed through their comms, their ships burning from inside. But Mira's ship was caught too. Warnings flashed. The heat was beyond limits. "Helios, keep burning," she whispered. Outside, the alien weapon began to collapse, sucked into its own energy. A wave of light exploded outward, washing through space. Helios flared brighter than ever before. For a moment, 2 suns burned across the sky. The real sun regained its color, free from the alien drain. On Earth, people shielded their eyes. Some fell to their knees. Others cried, "Two suns, two lights," one made by nature, one made by human hands. In the moon base, silence filled the control room. Mira's ship was gone. No signal, but the alien fleet was destroyed. The solar barrier had vanished. The world saw the sun again, golden, strong, alive. A message appeared on the final transmission feed from Mira's ship. It was her voice, faint but clear. "The sun is yours again. Never forget, we made our own. Earth was saved." But everyone knew the war wasn't truly over. Somewhere in the stars, other fleets might be watching, waiting. Still, humanity had proven something to the universe. They were no longer just survivors. They were creators. From that day, every sunrise was a reminder of one truth. When darkness tried to steal the sky, humans answered with light. Earth was alive again. The sky burned golden as Helios hovered above the planet. Its light warmed frozen cities, melted ice sheets, and brought hope to every survivor. But above the restored sun, in the cold void of space, the alien fleet reformed. Though weakened, they were far from defeated. Their leader had not forgotten the audacity of humans. This time they came prepared, a fleet stronger than before, powered by stolen energy from the real sun, ready to crush humanity once and for all. On the moon base, Commander Rook stood with Dr. Mira Lang's final instructions burned into his mind. Helios was humanity's weapon, but its power alone wouldn't win the war. Humans had to fight too. "Prepare every ship," Rook ordered. "This is it. The war to save our sun and our world." The fleet assembled, battered but determined. Pilots who had survived the Cold War of Light manned every fighter, every cruiser, every fusion cannon. Engineers loaded Helios energy into specially designed light cannons. Every human alive knew what was at stake. On Earth, people looked up as the sky split into twin suns, Helios and the real sun. It was beautiful. It was terrifying. And it was humanity's last chance. The alien fleet advanced, dark and unstoppable, swallowing the light around them. They unleashed waves of black energy, freezing sections of space itself. Rook's fleet met them head-on. Explosions lit the void. Laser beams cut through alien armor. Ships tumbled and collided. For every human ship destroyed, 2 alien drones fell. For every drone destroyed, a human pilot was lost, but Rook never wavered. "Hold formation! Protect Helios!" he shouted. The humans began to push the aliens back, using the light cannons powered by Helios. Blinding beams of energy shot through space, slicing through the dark vessels. The alien commander realized too late that their own power could be turned against them. Meanwhile, Mira's voice echoed through the control room recordings. "Remember, darkness cannot create life. Only light can." Zeus Helios wisely. The humans followed her guidance perfectly. They focused the artificial sun's energy into precise bursts. The alien fleet's formation shattered, but the aliens had one last weapon. A massive energy spear drawn from the real sun itself, aimed directly at Earth. Rook saw it on the monitors. His voice was cold, determined. "We take it down, together." Human ships accelerated toward the spear. Pilots risked everything, weaving through beams of raw solar energy. Rook led the charge. His ship rammed the spear, using Helios's light as a shield. The impact caused a massive chain reaction. The spear detonated in space, but the explosion sent waves of energy outward. Rook's ship was caught in the blast. He radioed one last message: for Earth, for light, then silence. For a terrifying moment, the humans thought they had lost everything. But Helios responded. The artificial sun absorbed the remaining energy of the blast, glowing brighter than ever before. Its light ripped through the alien fleet, breaking ships apart, melting hulls, and burning the dark barrier from the universe itself. The alien commander's flagship was the last to fall. It exploded in a supernova of energy, scattering the surviving vessels into space. Earth's twin suns blazed across the sky, the real sun restored, and Helios hovering nearby, a reminder of human courage and ingenuity. On Earth, people cheered. Cities lit up. Children ran outside, laughing and crying at the sight of warmth and light. The frozen oceans began to thaw. Rivers flowed. Life returned. In the moon base, the control room was silent. Mira's ship had been lost. Her sacrifice had guided Helios to victory. But her recordings reminded everyone of her words. When darkness tries to steal the sky, humans answer with light. Commander Rook lowered his head. Tears filled his eyes. They had won. But the victory was built on courage, sacrifice, and the unbreakable will of humanity. From that day on, humans looked at the sky differently. They saw not just a sun, but a symbol, proof that they could fight impossible odds, that even when the universe tried to snuff out their light, they could create their own. Historians would later call it the Age of Two Suns. Stories would be told of Rook, Mira, and every human who risked everything to bring back life, and deep in space, far beyond the remnants of the alien fleet, a faint shimmer of energy could be seen, a warning to all who would try to challenge humanity again. We are no longer just survivors. We are creators. We are light.